As a scientist, I've worked with heavy metals for nearly 4 years, and as you can see, I'm still alive and well. How come? I'm gonna guess you clicked because you're worried about your tap water, your medicine, makeup, the soil your veggies grow in, and even the air you breathe. It's normal to want to shield yourself from heavy metals, but dose is key. So by the end of this video, you will know real ways to shield yourself from heavy metals and be less scared of them overall. No detox kits, no smoothie scams, just science. So before you lose your liver, let's get started. Okay, you are not going to believe this, but the heavy metal that you eat every single day, it's in your beans and broccoli, your mother's chicken dish, and fortified toast. Yep, it's iron. Iron is the reason your cells can breathe. But here is the twist. If you supplement with iron unnecessarily because an influencer said that it's good for you, you are basically adding iron unnecessarily, and over time it will stress the liver, scar it, and it will increase your risk of liver cancer. Your lovely detox machine will be so sick that it will not be able to process nutrients and also those toxins that you need removed out of your body. So if your skin starts to look a little bit like Pikachu, this is your cue to call a doctor because you've probably poisoned yourself with iron. Since it's nearly Halloween, let me tell you a little horror story about the next element which actually took place. But do not be scared because you need to understand the danger before we get to the remedy. In 1858, on Halloween night in Bradford, UK, children crowded into a sweet shop for peppermint humbugs. But the sugar filler had been accidentally swapped with white arsenic, a deadly twin with no taste or smell. The poison went unnoticed and each candy was strong enough to kill. Within hours, joys turned to screams. 20 people passed away and hundreds were poisoned, all from one tragic mix-up. The Bradford tragedy haunted lawmakers. Soon enough, they passed laws. Poisons had to be labeled, food had to be monitored, and pharmacies at the time had to keep a strict record of who they were selling poisons to. These strategies soon spread across Europe and America, and today, labs investigate food and drink for heavy metals with incredible precision, down to parts per billion, so that history does not repeat itself. But you know what's still truly horrific? Forgetting to subscribe. It only takes a second, and if you're enjoying this, a thumbs up helps me make these videos. Thank you! Although safeguards were starting to be introduced, not every poisonous element was eliminated right away. In fact, some were hiding in plain sight. Let's travel to Japan, where not too long ago, the famous geisha, these exquisite performers, had to pay a hefty price for their flawless appearance, and chances are your grandma did too. Geisha achieved this beautiful, elegant white makeup using a paste called oshiroi, which among other ingredients had white lead, highly toxic. And it wasn't just Japan. Across the Pacific, lead was everywhere in American homes. In telephones and vacuums, washing machine, and even children toys. The danger with lead is how easily it slips into the body. It goes through your skin, the blood, and then the brain. Once it's inside, it will start to wreck your nerve cells, making it a lot harder for you to think, remember things, or control emotions. It even bullies other elements into thinking that it is in fact iron or calcium. And in turn, this leaves you with weaker bones, weaker hair, and crumbling teeth. But don't click away before you hear the good news. Your best defense against lead is not a detox kit. It is real science. Studies show that getting enough calcium and iron into your body can help to block lead from being absorbed. But we've just discussed that you should never supplement unsupervised. Instead, I have added a PDF into the description of the video for you to try out some recipes that will help you to naturally boost your levels of calcium and iron into your diet. But Diana, what about lead in tap water? Sorry to burst the conspiracy bubble, but water companies are not trying to secretly poison you. By law, they are also required to test for heavy metals in accredited labs, remember? The real culprit is usually closer to home. I'm talking old pipes or peeling paint. So if a house deal looks too good to be true, it probably is. Check the plumbing first because lead will easily seep into your water if the piping is really old. But if you want to be extra vigilant, you can book a blood test for heavy metals. Check with your doctor or GP what options you have. Okay, you will not believe the next one and you'll think I've gone mad as a hatter, but hear me out. Mercury can actually save lives. Let me explain. If mercury is so dangerous, why are people dipping their fingers into liquid mercury? Well, believe it or not, pure mercury is not toxic to the touch. The real danger is its other forms, mercury salts and vapors. Mercury is actually the metal I've worked with the most in the lab and at university, and sometimes you just cannot avoid it. In fact, it's essential for modern medicine. Mercury salts act like matchmakers. They help chemicals, these pink blobs here, react, which allows us to make life-saving drugs. Of course, those drugs go through purification before anyone takes them. And have I gone mad? No. Safety protocols do not allow me to touch mercury directly. The important part for you to take home is this: your makeup, your medicine, anything that is legally sold, not on a back alley, has already been tested for mercury limits. But what about fish? That's where most people actually panic. But rest assured, mercury builds up in big predator fish like shark, like swordfish, and tuna steaks sometimes. But if you stick to small fish or salmon twice a week, you're good. You're absolutely good. So now that you know what you know, let's see how dosing actually works. This is what scientists use to understand which chemicals are dangerous and why. Today's pick is arsenic. We already know it's poisonous, so let's just jump to the fun part. Toxicology. The science of how much of something it takes to cause harm. Remember, it's not just the toxin, it's about the dose. Now, these limits aren't tested on people for obvious reasons, but animal studies give us a good idea of what would happen to humans. For example, based on my body weight, it would take about 1 gram to unalive me. So yes, it's deadly, but statistically only in that amount. And because heavy metals can build up slowly, prevention still matters. That's why food and water safety checks exist, and why your everyday choices will still count. There would be other heavy metals to talk about as well, but for today, I focused on the heavy metals I saw discussed the most in online trends, where people talk about detoxing as if it's casual. The height of nonsense is when someone is trying to sell you a detox kit and an iron supplement. My goal here was to put your mind at ease, to learn about exposure limits and about the laws that are in place to protect you from exposure to heavy metals. If you are exposed to high enough levels for them to be lethal, you would know. You would get a headache, a skin rash, vomiting. You would basically rush to the emergency room, not to a TikTok trend. And if you're still concerned, a doctor visit would put your mind at ease. They can order a blood test and check for heavy metals. Trust me, overall, it will be cheaper than all the detox kits in the world. In third world countries, however, the situation is a little bit different because there's a lack of regulations. Remember those laws that we talked about with maximum thresholds? A lot of still developing countries do not have that. So now you know, it's not the toxin, it's the dose that matters and how to protect yourself from it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Last week I hit my 100 subscribers, which for me is a big step, and I just want to say a big thank you out there to everyone that is still watching, has just discovered me. And if you enjoyed this video, why not pop along to the one where I talk about my hair growth journey using all the science I know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.